Right team, in today's video we are going to go through the incline dumbbell press. I see a lot of people getting this one wrong, and that 9 times out of 10 will come from hand position, wrist position, it will come from setup. So the way I think of movements is you have the setup, which is getting you in the position that you need to be in, and then it becomes the movement itself. So a massive focus, especially when doing pressing exercises, needs to come on the setup, because once you get that right, that's 90% of the way there. So when picking dumbbells up and when getting them up into position, there's two different ways you can do it. So the first one, what I would do is get your dumbbells to be on the floor, pick them up and bring them up onto your knees. I would always have the dumbbells on the end of my knees. The reason is because we want to use our legs to help get the dumbbells back. Currently these are 15s, but if you were doing them with 50s, it would be a lot harder to get the dumbbells up. So the way to do it, option one, you flick one leg or one dumbbell and then the other. So one dumbbell flicks back and then the other dumbbell flicks back, and then you're in position. And from here, we can just press up to the top, okay? The other way of doing it is using both legs at the same time. So the way I would do this is lock my arms into my side. So I'm always thinking about like squeezing my arms to my side. That's gonna be locked in. I'm gonna rock forward onto my toes. So I'm gonna almost kind of take all of my weight onto my toes, and then I'm gonna rock back and flick both of them back. And that's gonna allow me to get into that position. From here, I'm gonna press up nice and tall. So, with the setup of this, we want to make sure that we have a big arch in our lower back. So one of the biggest things that I'm focusing on is keeping a giant arch in my lower back. What a lot of people tend to do with incline stuff, because the weight's too heavy, is they actually end up sitting on the end of the bench. So they're all the way like up here, and they're in this position. You're basically doing a flat press at this point. We want your bum to be like right in the crease of the bench. So really far back, and then this giant arch, as much as we possibly can, into that position. The reason is because when we're thinking about this, two different cues for you to think about trying to maintain the correct position would be either just to try and really focus on that arch, so driving that arch and almost thinking, the analogy people use is imagine you're trying to like snap bamboo. So when you're in position, it's like your bamboo snapping here. So you'll feel your lower back kind of like tense right up. That's what we want to be feeling if we can. Either that or big chest. So wanting to take our chest and try and get it as flared up and as high as possible. If you think about when you train your chest attaches on your sternum, attaches out here on your arm. What we want to try and do is keep one of those points when training any muscle group. You want to have your origin, which is the muscle or the place the muscle attaches closest to the body. And then you have the insertion, which is where the muscle attaches further away from your body. We want to keep one of those points kind of stable the whole time. So for us, when we attach up here, we want to keep that point stable as possible. So we're going to take the dumbbells up, we're going to get into position, we're going to flick here, and we're going to go nice big chest. So my sternum's positioned up, I'm going to hold that position. One thing you want to make sure is that when you're in this position here, we don't want the dumbbells to be like a barbell and be flat here, because what that will do is naturally turn your elbows out. So when you come down, you'll be way out here. What that's going to do is you're not as stable, which means it's actually going to be way more difficult for you to load this. And it's going to flare your elbows, which means that one of the things and reasons why it's so difficult to press sometimes is because your elbow is going to want to naturally do that. So when you're in position, rather than it being like a barbell and all being flat here, I like to turn the dumbbells into that position there, almost thinking like a 45-degree angle, or thinking about it as like when I'm at the bottom position here, the dumbbells are pointing towards my ears, okay? So I don't want the dumbbells pointing towards my chin or to each other. I want the dumbbells pointing towards my ears. With every pressing movement, you want to be pressing through your palms, and the reason that is because that's going to keep the tension and keep the pressure on your chest. So even though I wrap my fingers around to keep the dumbbells safe and wrap my thumbs around to keep the dumbbells safe, I want to make sure that I'm pressing through my palms to the ceiling. One of the things that people get wrong is when they're pressing this and when they're doing this, their shoulders moving quite a lot. So as I flick back, one of the things you'll see me do is tuck my shoulders in underneath me. So my shoulders are now, rather than being shrugged up, they're shrugged down. A good way to think about this, if you put your hands out in front of you, you want to reach as far forward as possible, and then you want to pick your shoulders up and roll them into your back pocket. That's the position that we're going to press from. And when you get to the top, we want to keep those shoulders in the back pocket. We don't want that to happen. Again, the reason is, if we get to a position where here, our shoulders are backing down, when we keep them backing down, our chest is doing the work, okay? So this motion here, our pec, has gone from lengthened to shortened, which is what you need to do when training every muscle. Take it from lengthened to shortened. And when you've done that, this is a shorter position, then even though my hands aren't further up, if I go further up, I actually now take this insertion further away from the point. So I'm no longer using my chest to do that movement. So the whole goal is for us to keep the tension and keep the pressure on our chest, which is why when we flick into position and we set ourselves up, we're going to have those shoulders back and down. We're going to have our chest stuck up towards the ceiling. And when you get to the top of the movement, you want to end it there with your shoulders back and down, not collapsing and doing that. One of the reasons people do collapse their chest is because they don't think about their breathing. So your rib cage is like a barrel, and what we want to make sure we do to kind of help with stability of our shoulder and our shoulder blade is we want to fill that barrel. So we want to fill our lungs up with air, nice and big. We want to keep it filled up with air, okay? And the reason we want to do that is because then we have a way more stable place to press from, okay? Way more stable. And when you're in position, if you've got your lungs filled up with air, what you don't want to do is and breathe out on the way up. You want to try and maintain your breath. What you want to do is you can slowly allow yourself to like have that air come out of you, but you want to keep your ribs nice and flared. So there is a bit of a difference or a bit of a control needed with your breathing and with keeping those ribs flared. Thank you for watching. My name's Charlie. This is Hack the Body, Hack the Mind. We will see you on the next one.